There's a stranger's cologne in my couch cushions. I know what you're thinking. Maybe it's a guest, a delivery guy. Maybe I sat in something. But no. I've smelled it for the past 4 nights. It's not mine. It's not something you'd mistake. It's sharp, musky, way too confident. The kind of scent worn by a man who doesn't ask permission. I've sprayed the cushions 3 times with fabric cleaner. I even took the cover off and washed it. The smell came back. So either I'm going insane, or the ghost of this man is still sitting in my living room. And the worst part? My wife, Vanna, hasn't mentioned it. Not once. She just avoids that side of the couch now. That side used to be mine. I found a black dress sock under the coffee table yesterday. Not mine. Too small, wrong brand. She said it must have gotten stuck in the dryer with our laundry. I don't think I even responded. I just nodded like a coward. Yes, I'm a coward. That's what this is, right? I haven't screamed. I haven't confronted. I haven't even said the words. Are you cheating on me? Because I'm terrified she'll say yes. Like it's nothing. I caught them. At her firm's networking mixer. That rooftop bar with the fake ferns and overpriced wine. They weren't even hiding. He kissed her like they'd done it 1,000 times. She let him. No pulling away. No looking over her shoulder. And when I walked up, heart pounding so hard I thought my ribs would crack, I didn't yell. I didn't shove. I just whispered, "You just ended our marriage." And she looked me in the eye and said, "You're wrong." Like I'd just failed a quiz. Like I misunderstood her marriage. I left. Not out of strength. Out of fear. Because if I stayed 1 second longer, I would have crumbled in front of both of them. Right there. In front of her colleagues, her boss, and the man who smells like my furniture. That was 10 days ago. She came home that night like nothing happened. She hasn't mentioned it once. And now I sleep on the opposite side of the bed, next to the edge. The side she used to complain was too cold. I woke up the morning after the mixer, and our bed sheets were different. Same color, ivory white, but not the ones we had on last night. These didn't have the faint ink stain on the corner from when she dropped that pen months ago. These smelled different too. Lemony, overly fresh, like a hotel trying too hard to cover something up. I didn't ask her about it. I just stared at the bed like it had betrayed me. Vanna made coffee like she always does, but she used the travel mug she only uses when she's going somewhere fast. I watched her pour it, grab her bag, and head for the door. She didn't even look at me, and I just sat there in that lemon-scented silence. You ever feel like a ghost in your own house? That's what it's like now. The air feels occupied, like something's living between the walls, just watching me rot. I finally texted her. "Me, can we talk later?" 3 hours passed. Vanna, "Busy today. Maybe tomorrow." No emoji, no punctuation, not even a question. Maybe tomorrow. We used to text all day. Stupid little things. Memes, inside jokes, song lyrics. Now I send her a question about our marriage, and she answers like it's a spam email. I took the day off work and spent the afternoon walking through the house trying to notice things. Not find things. Notice them. I opened the hallway closet. One of her heels was missing from the usual spot. I checked the car. The passenger seat was pushed all the way back. She's 5 feet 4 inches. Whoever sat there was taller. Probably by a lot. I opened our Google Photos backup. We've had it syncing automatically for years. Nothing recent. But the shared album with me had stopped syncing 6 days ago. It used to update daily. I sat in the living room for hours, staring at the blank TV screen. The couch still smelled like him. And then, at 6:17 p.m., I got a call. Unknown number. No voicemail, just a missed call. A minute later, a text came through. "You should ask her who Davis really is." That was it. No name, no photo, just that. I texted back, "Who are you?" No reply. I walked to the kitchen, grabbed the glass of wine Vanna had left on the counter, and dumped it out. Then I opened her office drawer and found the folder she keeps under her old college textbooks. Inside were printed emails. Emails between her and a man named Davis Wolfe. The most recent was 3 weeks ago. "We have to stop doing this at the house. It's risky." I think he's starting to notice. I don't know what's worse, that I found the printed emails, or that I kept reading them. Page after page, Davis Wolfe and my wife exchanging plans, details, phrases so specific I felt like I was being peeled open sentence by sentence. But there's one message I can't stop replaying in my head. She wrote, "He's not cruel, he's just slow. I don't think he even sees the cracks." I was the he. I'm the slow one. I guess I should be thankful she didn't call me pathetic. I took the folder, shoved it back into the drawer, and sat on the kitchen floor like I was waiting for someone to arrest me. That's how guilty I felt. Not angry. Not even betrayed. Just stupid. Like I'd let this whole thing happen around me while I was too busy being proud of how supportive I was. It's not just the emails, though. It's the little things she doesn't realize I notice. The drawer in the bathroom that never used to close all the way. It does now, because someone fixed it. Not me. Her toothbrush used to sit next to mine. Now it's further to the left, like it's avoiding me. And her phone. Always face down. Always on Do Not Disturb. That night, she came home late again. Hair curled, shoes in hand, makeup barely smudged. I watched from the hallway as she walked into the kitchen and opened the fridge like nothing was wrong. She took out an apple. A red one. Pink lady, and she bit into it from the side. Not the top or the stem, but the weird side-angle bite I always do. The one she used to call caveman style. He eats apples like I do. It hit me so hard I almost said it out loud. He's been here enough times to copy me. He's seen how I move, how I sit, how I chew. He's worn my house like a jacket, and she's helped him button it up. She turned and saw me standing there, said nothing. Just walked past me, apple in hand, and disappeared into the bedroom. She didn't even close the door. I stayed in the hallway for 10 minutes, trying to figure out if I was more haunted by her silence or my own. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something. But instead, I went into the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror, and tried to figure out if this was what being invisible felt like. Spoiler. It is. The next morning, I received another message from the unknown number. No words this time, just a photo. A blurry shot of Vanna and Davis sitting in what looked like our backyard, by the fence, wine glasses in hand, her head on his shoulder. I checked the timestamp in the corner. It was taken 3 weeks ago. I was at my mother's funeral that day. She said she had food poisoning and couldn't travel. I didn't sleep that night. I laid there staring at the ceiling fan, listening to it click every 5 rotations like it was counting down something I couldn't see. Vanna slept beside me, her breath steady, back turned. She's been doing that a lot lately, turning away like I'm something sharp. The bed between us felt like the Grand Canyon. I stared into it for hours, but never crossed. In the morning, she was gone before I woke up. Coffee made, no note. Just a perfectly washed mug in the sink, upside down, like her. And then, right as I sat down to force myself through a spoonful of cold cereal, I saw the little red dot on the landline. We haven't used that phone in years. We only kept it because the internet bundle made it cheaper to have it than not. Nobody calls it except telemarketers. But there it was. A voicemail. I hit play. The message started mid-sentence. Someone must have dialed by accident and their pocket recorded it. The sound was muffled at first, then voices. 2 of them, hers and his. Vanna was laughing. That soft, careless kind of laugh that she stopped using around me years ago. It wasn't fake. It was real. and that made it worse. Then I heard her say something. I had to play it back 5 times before I understood the words, because my brain didn't want to. She said, "He still thinks we're going through a rough patch. I don't even think he's angry. I think he's just dissolving. Dissolving. Like I'm not even breaking. I'm just slowly becoming less visible, less solid, less there." And Davis, because yes, it was him, he just chuckled and said, "He's the kind that'll wait for you until he disappears." I didn't move, didn't cry, just sat there with the landline buzzing in my hand, like it was trying to warn me of something ancient and evil. That's when I realized something else. That message? It wasn't new. The date stamp was from 2 weeks ago. It had just never been checked. She must have called him from the landline by accident, maybe while reaching for something. The irony of technology betraying her felt almost funny. Almost. I couldn't confront her. Not yet. I needed more. That's what I told myself. But the truth was, I wasn't ready to hear whatever she might say if I asked her directly. I was afraid she'd say it calmly, with that same measured voice she uses when she says, "We're out of milk." I spent the rest of the day in my car. I didn't drive anywhere. Just sat in the garage with the engine off, doors locked, phone face down. The silence in there was so thick, I thought it might crack. At one point, I caught my reflection in the rearview mirror and didn't recognize it. Not because I looked different, but because I didn't look anything. Just blank. Like an old receipt that had been in your wallet too long. All the ink faded, all the value gone. When I finally went back inside, she was already home, headphones in, watching some show on her laptop with that artificial sitcom laughter echoing through the hallway. She didn't even flinch when I walked past her. No guilt, no tension, just nothing. And that night, as I lay in bed again, staring at the ceiling fan, I noticed it had stopped clicking. Not because it was fixed, because she'd replaced it. I don't know when, I don't know how, but sometime between all the missing words and cold stares, she took the time to remove the one noise that reminded me time was still moving. Now the fan spins silently, and so do I. I don't know why I did it. Maybe I was looking for something that would let me sleep, or maybe I just wanted proof I hadn't imagined it all. Around midnight, after I heard Vanna's laptop lid snap shut and her bedroom door lock. Yes, she locks it now. I slipped outside with her spare car key and opened the trunk of her sedan. I didn't expect anything. Not really. But what I found felt worse than anything explicit. There was a picnic blanket, neatly folded. The one we used once last summer before things got strange. A half-empty bottle of Malbec, our favorite brand, unopened since our anniversary 3 years ago. And a receipt from a wine shop 2 towns over, dated 2 Saturdays ago. That was the weekend she said she was at a conference, alone. It felt staged, too clean, like someone preparing for a memory they hoped would last longer than the truth. I picked up the blanket and held it to my face. No smell, no grass, not even dust. It had been washed, too recently. There was something deeply wrong about that. You don't wash nostalgia. You let it linger. I didn't touch the wine. I closed the trunk softly, like I was afraid it might scream. Then I stood in the driveway under the motion light, staring at the shadows of the trees. I couldn't shake the feeling that someone had stood here before. Not me. Not her. Him. Davis. I could feel him in the air, in the parts of this house he never had to pay for, but still somehow owned. That night, I didn't go inside right away. I slept in the back seat of my own car, with the doors locked and the blanket from her trunk draped over me like it belonged to someone else. In the early morning, before the sun even tried, I saw the light in our bedroom flick on for a second, then off again. She never opened the curtains. It was a Tuesday when I saw him. I wasn't even supposed to be at the grocery store. I'd already done the shopping the day before. But I'd forgotten to buy the oat milk Vanna uses for her smoothies, and for some reason, I still cared enough to go back for it. Maybe I was trying to act like a normal husband again, like things could still be ordinary if I played my part convincingly enough. The store was mostly empty. That slow hour before the after-work crowd rolls in. I wandered the refrigerated aisle, barely paying attention, when I saw him. Not at first. I caught his reflection in the glass door before I saw him directly. Tall, dark gray coat, clean-shaven, posture too perfect. I turned, and there he was, browsing the cheese section like he belonged there, like he wasn't the virus infecting my life. I didn't know for sure it was Davis. I'd never seen a full picture of him, just fragments, a blurry jawline in a photo, a voice in a voicemail, his name written in the margin of a folded email. But I knew. Some part of me, deep in my ribs, recognized him before my brain caught up. He turned slightly, looked past me, never made eye contact. Maybe he didn't know what I looked like. Maybe he did, and just didn't care. I didn't approach him. I couldn't. My legs refused. But I followed him. At a distance, past the aisles, through frozen foods, around to the bakery. He moved slowly, calmly, picking up random items, checking labels. I watched him grab a loaf of seeded rye, Vanna's favorite, and place it in his basket like it was a love note. He never bought anything. That's what chilled me. He wandered for 20 minutes, then left through the side exit, empty-handed. I stood in the bread aisle, still holding the oat milk, suddenly unsure if I should even bring it home. What was the point of playing husband if the other actor already had his lines memorized? When I got home, she wasn't there. No note, no text. I left the oat milk on the counter and sat on the couch. The same couch he'd probably sat on. The one she never sat beside me on anymore. I stared at the blank television screen, then picked up the remote and turned it on, just to hear something. But it was on the wrong input. HDMI 3. We don't use HDMI 3. We never have. And just like that, a new question rooted itself inside me. Not about her, not about him, but about how many things in this house have changed while I was still pretending I was in control. I went room by room, checking outlets, settings, drawer handles, pillow placements, everything. It all felt familiar, but slightly off, like a replica of my home made by someone who studied it from photographs. I opened the hallway closet and found a coat I didn't recognize. Too large for Vanna. Not mine. A faint cologne clinging to the fabric. I left it there. When she came home, she noticed the oat milk first. Picked it up, smiled faintly. Said, "Thanks, you didn't have to." I didn't reply. I just stared at her. And for the first time in months, she looked uncomfortable. Not guilty. Uncomfortable. Like she realized I wasn't dissolving anymore. I was watching. She's never locked the guest room before. We barely use it. It's the coldest room in the house, with the creaky floor and the lopsided lamp she always said we'd replace someday. Last night, just past midnight, I got up because I couldn't sleep. I was going to grab a spare blanket from the guest closet. The hallway was quiet, just the hum of the refrigerator in the distance. But the knob didn't turn. Locked. I stood there barefoot, hand still on the handle, heart picking up pace for no reason. I even tried it again, as if it might suddenly behave differently. But it was definitely locked, and not accidentally. No one locks that door by accident, especially not when there's nothing in there. At least, there shouldn't have been. I didn't knock, didn't call her name. I just stood there in the dark until I felt stupid for standing at a door, like it might confess something. I went back to our bedroom, but I didn't sleep. And in the morning, when she left early again, she didn't mention it. But the door was open. Unlocked. like it had never been closed at all. Inside, the room was spotless, unnaturally so, like it had been recently scrubbed. The bed was made, tight corners, not the way I do it. The lamp wasn't lopsided anymore, and the faint smell of cologne again. That same quiet scent I'd come to associate with silence, with secrets. There was one new thing, though, an empty glass on the nightstand, and a single black hair on the pillow. Vanna's hair is red. The hair on the pillow was the last thread. Not because it was evidence, I had enough of that, but because it finally shifted something in me. I wasn't angry. I wasn't even heartbroken anymore. I was just tired of narrating my own disappearance. So I made coffee. I opened the curtains. I let the light in. And I waited. Vanna came home late that night, heels in hand again, tired eyes, expecting silence. Instead, I was at the kitchen table, her old laptop sitting between us, open to the folder she'd tried to hide. She froze. Didn't sit down. She didn't ask how I found it. Didn't try to lie. That silence we'd built for months, it finally broke. I know, I said. I've known. She looked down, then back at me. So what happens now? It wasn't cruel. It wasn't defensive. Just a question. Real. Human. I don't remember exactly what I said next, but it wasn't some big speech. No anger, no raised voice. I told her I wasn't going to live in a museum of memories anymore, that I wanted something alive, something honest. And if that wasn't with her, then I'd still be okay. She cried, not because she got caught, because she realized I'd already left her in a way she couldn't undo. I moved out the next week, quietly, no drama. I took only what was mine and left behind what I no longer needed. Closure doesn't always come in dramatic scenes. Sometimes it's just boxes, keys, and breathing differently for the first time in years. It's been 2 months since then. I don't think about Davis anymore, or the locked rooms, or the wine. I think about how mornings feel when I open the windows. I think about how I can sleep through the night now without waiting for a click, a door, or an excuse. I'm not bitter. I'm not broken. I'm just rebuilding. And honestly, for the first time in a long time, I'm excited about who I might become next.